Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive.
Take control of your shit. There's so much funny shit in this game where I think somebody's trying to kill me. I'll be waking up paranoid. I'll be really scared. I'll just be paranoid.
I was offered $30,000 to perform a hit on Biggie Smalls.
Biggie's death has been over a decade, and the mystery behind the demise of the rapper is yet to be unveiled. But a new detail about what Biggie said about Diddy before he died has made fans wonder if Diddy had a hand in the untimely demise of the rapper. Keep watching to know more. It has been reported that people close to both Diddy and Biggie know some of the dark secrets surrounding Biggie's death. First, Jaguar Wright gave a piece of her mind on what Diddy may have contributed to the demise of the famous rapper. According to the R&B singer, Diddy exploited Biggie way more than any producer, and this may have resulted in his final decision to terminate Biggie.
Then the commission was supposed to come out, and that was supposed to be his exit from Bad Boy, and then starting his own company. Puffy has been making money on that boy's name longer than he lived. It supported all of Bad Boy.
That's real, yo. The more money you make, the more problems you get.
Meanwhile, Diddy's former bodyguard Eugene Deal believes Puff is responsible for the notorious Big. As death, he exposed Diddy in an interview with MREC TV. "You want to reminisce, brother. You want to put Big and Wolf on a teleprompter and tell the world how much you love me, when in fact, you did nothing to save them." Deal, who was once the head of security at Bad Boy, claims, "Let's reminisce on that night when we were at Andre Harrell's house and I told you that these cats were coming to kill us or try to get at us that night. I told you I had intel, but you didn't want to hear it. Let's reminisce on the fact that I told our driver Kenny run these next 3 lights. Run the lights, Kenny. Kenny ran the light. Big stopped at the light. Big gets killed. Was it meant for him, bruh?" In all, Deal made it clear that Diddy and Biggie weren't best of friends. In case you are wondering who some of the third parties he mentioned are, well, Wolf is Anthony Wolf Jones, who was the bodyguard for Diddy during the 1999 incident in which Diddy and Shine were accused of shooting up a Manhattan nightclub. Unfortunately, Wolf was unalived 4 years later outside of an Atlanta club in a seemingly unrelated incident, and apparently Diddy didn't make things right with Wolf's family. Sad, later in the video, Deal also accuses Diddy of having his security team find people to testify against Shine in the nightclub shooting, which resulted in Shine getting 10 years. Well, this isn't the first time Deal has told his account of Biggie's death, and it probably won't be the last. According to Rolling Stone, he also spoke to the LAPD about it after it happened. The magazine went on to say that Diddy cut Deal loose at that point because he was talking to the cops. Interestingly, a bodyguard named Uncle Ron also accused Diddy of offering him $30,000 to unalive Biggie, but he refused, and now the whole truth is out.
I was offered $30,000 to perform a hit on Biggie Smalls.
But while Diddy thought Deal was the only one telling on him, this is not the first time the finger has been pointed at him. The Los Angeles Police Department may just have solved the murders of rappers Christopher Biggie Smalls Wallace and Tupac Shakur, according to a documentary featuring retired LAPD detective Greg Kading, who once led a special task force that investigated those 2-decade-old shootings. Based on his 3 years working the cases, Kading claims that Sean Diddy Combs hired Crips gang member Dwayne Keep D. Davis to unalive Shakur and his manager, Marion Hughes Suchnite, for $1 million. Isn't that insane? According to him, on the night of Sept. 7, 1996, Kef D's nephew, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, pulled the trigger, but Shakur was terminated. Meanwhile, Kading alleges that in retaliation, Knight hired Blood's gang member Wardell Poochie Faust to kill Biggie Smalls for $13,000. Unfortunately, Biggie Smalls was shot to his demise on March 9, 1997, just 6 months after Shakur passed away. Well, over the course of investigating, Kading says that he essentially trapped Kef D into a situation where he had to give a verifiable confession about the events that led to Shakur's murder, or else face severe charges for another crime. If his intention was to just get away with it, so to speak, Kading told HuffPost it would have been very easy for him to not include all the details that he did. These extra details, according to the documentary, include the allegation that Combs hired Kef D for the crime. Honestly, the list just keeps on going. The documentary, titled Murder Rap, originally premiered in 2015. Based on Kading's 2011 book of the same name, it's available on iTunes now and will head to Netflix in the spring. This documentary only became a reality because the LAPD assigned Kading to reinvestigate the rapper's murders in 2006, soon after Biggie Smalls' mother, Valletta Wallace, sued the department in federal court. Wallace's wrongful death lawsuit centered on a popular conspiracy theory that the police covered up an officer's involvement in her son's murder. Also, the civil suit estimated losses at $500 million based on Biggie Smalls' earning potential. It was Kading's task to disprove the theory posited in the suit, along with many others swirling around. Kading claims that once his team found enough evidence to acquit the LAPD, the reinvestigation of the murders was essentially dropped at. In 2009, the department took Kading off the task force due to an internal affairs investigation on a separate matter. Though he was eventually cleared in the internal matter, the image of a rogue cop stuck.
So they do. They're like, okay, sorry, but you're going to be benched because this is a very high-profile case, and we don't need it being tainted any more than it already is, because of all the bullshit. And so they're like, well, yeah. And ultimately, it turned out the allegations were nonsense against me. And
but obviously, and like any Rouge cop, Kading didn't stop. In truth, over the course of his 25-year law enforcement career, Kading received the Laps Medal of Valor and its Police Star for heroic action. He also achieved the highest ranking for an investigator that the LAPD gives. In 2010, he retired from the department. The next year, he published his book about the rapper's case. And as expected, Kading now alleges that the LAPD chose not to pursue formal charges in the case because of Combs' celebrity and because the evidence pointed to two killers who were already deceased. Anderson and Faust have both died of apparently unrelated causes. Although the LAPD offered no comment about Kading's claims or the documentary when contacted by HuffPost, the public knew something was fishy. In 2010, before Kading's book came out, radio show host DJ JoJo surprised Combs with questions about Biggie Smalls' murder. Combs answered as if he seemingly had some knowledge of what had happened, declaring those are street issues. Inevitably, Combs told La Weekly that Kading's claims were pure fiction and completely ridiculous. Kading, of course, disagrees. You want to believe you were a good enough investigator to rise to the occasion, he told HuffPost. He said he had been chosen for the task force due to his experience in gang-related and narcotics crimes, along with cold case homicides. But the effort ended before any suspects were brought to court. And since then, the case has grown even colder as additional people who might have known something about the rapper's murders have either been unalived or missing. Unfortunately, Kading's claims appear unlikely to ever go to court. That is, unless he's sued by one of the accused, such as Combs or Knight. I don't think any rational person looks forward to getting sued, Kading said, laughing. But if I did, I would not shy away from it. I am very, very confident in the case. I'm confident in the evidence. In the meantime, he's making his arguments directly to the people. Kading's book ends with these words, maybe this story would never hold up in court, but maybe it will hold up in the court of public opinion. You decide. Despite, or perhaps because of, the high-profile nature of the accused, the documentary has had a difficult time getting distribution and press, according to filmmaker Mike Dorsey. I think it's one of the 10 biggest stories in hip-hop of the entire year, and it's almost complete silence in the hip-hop media world, said Dorsey. Kading had similar frustrations with his 2011 book. It was originally written for a major New York book publisher, but that publisher eventually terminated the $250,000 contract. The publishing house told HuffPost the contract was canceled for legal concerns. Kading ended up self-publishing the book. While everyone thought the book and the documentary will help the investigation, the story has still gone nowhere. It's been the worst-kept secret in Compton, Dorsey said of Kading's allegations. But the good news is that the documentary is getting wider distribution. They suggest that maybe someone else who was involved with the case might come forward with more evidence to corroborate Kading's assertions. There's still some loose ends that should have been addressed by law enforcement, said the former detective. But I don't see that happening. I don't see them proactively investigating these cases ever again. As for himself, he said, I have absolute closure in the case already. There is no doubt in my mind that we've discovered the truth and we're presenting the truth. So as far as the murders go, they're solved. Now it's just a matter of educating the public as to that information, said Kading. Let's see how the fans have reacted. Diddy is a snake all about the money with zero sense of loyalty. A fan wrote. Another fan added, I'm not surprised Diddy is a snake and mass manipulator. He uses people and cut ties with them. That'll be all for now. See you next time for more entertainment.